Hello children, welcome to AIMS India's online classes. Biology session, Respiration in Organisms, Part 3. So in the last class about the anaerobic respiration in the muscles, lactic acid formation and the alcoholic fermentation by yeast, as well as we also discussed about the organs of respiration, pulmonary respiration, respiration in human beings, and the tracheal respiration and the cutaneous respiration, respiration in thwom. Okay, in this today's class we are going to discuss more about the organs of respiration. Are you ready, children? Let us proceed. Respiration in frog. Respiration in frog. Frog, you know very well, it belongs to the vertebrate amphibian. It is. What is an amphibian? Amphibian is an animal which can survive both on land and in water. So it possesses the special organs for the respiration. So they have dual system that helps them to breathe. They have a pair of lungs just like human beings, and on the other hand they can breathe through their moist and slimy skin as well, and even they can also respire with their buccopharyngeal cavity, mouth. Okay, so in this lesson we are going to discuss about how the frog respires through skin. Let us see. When their skin is moist or when they are in water, they breathe through their thin and membranous skin, which is permeable to both water and gases. When they are on land, they take their air into their lungs by pushing it from their mouth with their nostrils closed. Okay, so the respiration through skin when they are in water, the frog skin, when you observe, it is having several glands, mucous glands are present. So always moist and sticky. The skin is always moist and sticky, and it is richly supplied with blood vessels. Okay, so in order to perform cutaneous respiration, the few conditions are applied. What are those conditions? The first one is skin is richly supplied with blood capillaries. The second one, it must be always moist. And the third one, it is sticky, and the mucus is present on the skin. When skin dries, the frog may die. It will die. Okay, so in order to make its skin moist and sticky, it will jump into the water frequently and come up. Okay, actually the dual life of frog require water at the time of reproduction in order to lay the eggs. Okay, for fertilization they require water. So at the time mostly they perform cutaneous respiration. In normal conditions they respire through lungs when they are on land. Okay, generally you find these frogs in the marshy soils or in the drainage, nearby the drainage pits. These frogs are present. Okay, so the exchange of gas takes place like this. When the concentration of oxygen reduces in the blood, oxygen from external atmosphere or oxygen dissolved in the water, when it is in water, so that oxygen by means of diffusion it combines with the blood capillaries in the blood. Okay, it it combines with blood. Next, when the concentration of carbon dioxide increases, the red arrow mark shows the CO2, carbon dioxide. It diffuses out. Okay. The blue color arrow mark represent like this. The exchange of gases takes place. Carbon dioxide diffuses out, oxygen enters inside. So depending upon the concentration, the exchange of gases takes place between the blood and the external atmosphere. Next, branchial respiration. Respiration in fish. As you know that the availability of oxygen is different different for the aquatic animals. The oxygen is freely available for the organisms which are terrestrial, which are on land, but the source of oxygen for aquatic animals is the dissolved oxygen. The rate of breathing of aquatic animals is higher than the terrestrial animals, means the animals that live on land, because the percentage of oxygen present in water is less than the percentage of oxygen present in atmosphere. So these aquatic animals require higher rate of breathing, which enables them to take up more oxygen. Okay. Fishes have certain projections on their body known as gills. These gills are feathery organs. These gills are connected with blood vessels for easy exchange of gases. So these gills help the aquatic species like fish to utilize the oxygen dissolved in water. Let us see the mechanism how the fish, the exchange of gases takes place during the process of respiration in fish. Generally the fish opens its mouth wide so that the water from the atmosphere, means the habitat where it lives, enters inside the mouth, and it will closes its mouth. When it closes its mouth, the water will bathe the gill pouches or gill lamellae or gill filaments. Okay, when the water flows or baths this gill lamellae, are having very thin blood capillaries, the gill filaments, so that the capillary network containing the blood, richly supplied with blood, and these capillaries are lined by a single membrane, so that easily the oxygen present in the water diffuses into the blood capillaries, where it combines with the RBC, red blood cells, and the carbon dioxide will diffuses out, mixes with the water. The water first it enters through the mouth and enters through the internal branchial aperture and bathes the gill pouches. Later, the water which is rich in carbon dioxide will come out through external branchial aperture, not through mouth. Okay, in one direction only. Water enters the mouth, it closes its mouth, then through internal branchial aperture, that water reaches the gill lamellae, baths the gill lamellae, passes through the gill lamellae. So the gill lamellae are richly supplied with blood capillaries, arteries, and veins. So the oxygen present in the water diffuses into the blood capillaries, and carbon dioxide will diffuse out. So that water again comes out through the external branchial aperture. This type of respiration where the gills are involved is called the branchial respiration or aquatic respiration. Okay, next let us see how respiration takes place in plants. Plants are also living organisms. Plants are also require energy. So the plants too require the phenomenon of respiration for survival. plant take in oxygen rich air through the atmosphere, from the atmosphere, and breathe out air rich in carbon dioxide through the tiny pores present in the lower surface of the leaves, that is stomata. Even plant respire through other organs like hair, lenticels, root hairs. You know root hairs. The oxygen present in the inside the soil observed through the root hairs. Lenticels. Lenticels are the special structures. They are present on the stem, and the stomata on the leaves. So some of the parts present in the plants through which the exchange of gases takes place. So respiration in plants takes place through root hairs, lenticels, and stomata. See here. So this is the internal organization of the leaf, where the epidermis of the leaf, having some gaps, possess a tiny natural apertures. They are called stomata or stoma. So each stomata, if you take, they are this is the epidermis. Each stomata is guarded by two kidney shaped cells called guard cells. So these regulate the opening and closing of stomata through which the exchange of gases, and the gases means oxygen, carbon dioxide, and water vapor takes place. Okay. So the leaf will accommodate the more carbon dioxide inside for the purpose of photosynthesis, and the oxygen which is released during photosynthesis also comes out through stomata. So during the transpiration, water vapor also comes out through the leaves through stomata. Okay. So these stomata are the organs of respiration, mainly in the higher plants. Okay. In some plants which are living in the marshy soils like mangroves, they possess respiratory roots, special roots, respiratory roots. Okay. So anyhow, root hairs, lenticels, and stomata are the some of the parts present in the plants for exchange of gases, or the gaseous exchange. Respiration in plants further, if we discuss, the roots of the plant to respire to generate energy, but they follow a different method. They take up air rich in oxygen from air spaces between the soil particles. So you know very well the roots are present inside the soil. The soil is somewhat the roots create some space, some soil intercellular spaces in the soil, okay, filled with air. We know that air is everywhere. Okay, even if you immerse a brick in the water also, it absorbs water and air bubbles will come out. Means air is present everywhere. So in the soil also, soil particles are surrounded by means of air spaces. So that air is absorbed through root hairs. Okay, because the root hairs are having a single membrane, so easily air diffuses into the root hairs. The breathed in oxygen is supplied to the cells, where it is used to break down glucose into carbon dioxide and water. Just like cellular respiration in animals, in the plants also, the oxygen which is breathed in, it is supplied to the cells, where it oxidizes the glucose, or it combines with the glucose and breaks the glucose into carbon dioxide and water, during which the energy is produced. By photosynthesis, actually the plants produce the glucose, but the plants require energy to produce the food. So that energy is provided by sunlight. In the presence of sunlight, carbon dioxide and water combines to form the carbohydrates in the green leaves, during which oxygen is added to the atmosphere. At the same time, that's why during daytime the photosynthesis takes place, during night time the plants undergo respiration. In the process of respiration, the carbohydrates in the presence of oxygen breaks into carbon dioxide and water, and with the release of energy. This energy is used for different metabolic activities in the plants. Okay, respiration day and night, throughout day it takes place. Photosynthesis occur during daytime. Okay, so plants are also living, plants are also respiring for the production of energy. Let us see more respiration in plants. So this glucose which is produced during the photosynthesis is converted into ATP, adenosine triphosphate, energy currency. Which is the energy currency? The energy is stored in the form of ATP. So the equation representing the breakdown of food to release energy in plants also same. C6H12O6 plus O2, actual balanced equation. 6O2 gives rise to 6CO2 plus 6H2O plus energy. Okay, this equation represents the cellular respiration. So this energy is required by the plants for performing photosynthesis, excreting waste materials, and also used for the growth and development. The rate of respiration in plants is lesser than animals. Okay, compared to animals, rate of respiration is less in plants. Okay, you see this image. This is a plant. The organic matter observed or produced during the photosynthesis. During respiration, this organic matter, glucose, breaks down into carbon dioxide and water, and the energy is produced. This is the process of respiration, which helps the plant in growth, development, and in excretion, and also in the performance of photosynthesis. Also the energy is used, some amount of energy. Okay, that is called photophosphorylation. Means the process of production of ATP in the presence of sunlight is called photophosphorylation. ATP is produced, that is used during the process of photosynthesis. Glycolysis. It is the first step. As so far we have studied that energy is produced by breaking down of glucose. Okay, so how the breaking down of glucose takes place? Directly oxygen combines with glucose and release energy? No, it is a systematic process. It takes place in the presence of several enzymes, biocatalysts. Okay, the first step in the breakage of glucose is glycolysis. Glycolysis. What is glycolysis? The term glycolysis has originated from the Greek words glykos, which means glucose or sugar, and lysis, which means splitting. The breaking of glucose or lysis of sugar, it is called glycolysis. It is a common step in aerobic and anaerobic respiration. Aerobic means which takes place in the presence of oxygen. Anaerobic means the respiration which takes place in the absence of oxygen or independent of oxygen. So here how the glycolysis takes place, it is given. So the scheme of glycolysis was given by three scientists: Gustav Embden, Otto Meyerhof, and J. Paranas. So the commonly it is called EMP. The first word of these scientists has taken is often referred to as EMP pathway. Embden, Meyerhof, and Paranas pathway. The glycolysis occurs in the cytoplasm of the cell, and it is the only process in anaerobic organisms. In anaerobic means The organisms which live in the oxygen free environment, the only way to produce energy is glycolysis. Glycolysis is the process in which glucose derived from sucrose undergoes partial oxidation to form two molecules of pyruvic acid. Okay, the glucose derived from sucrose undergoes partial oxidation to form two molecules of pyruvic acid. This is glycolysis. So let us see how it does not occur in single step. It involves a series of 8 reactions. So first, sucrose. The sucrose or starch. So let us take a starch. The starch is the end product of photosynthesis. As the starch is the complex carbohydrate, it is hydrolyzed to glucose. Okay, it breaks down to glucose. So that glucose undergo glycolysis in the following way. Just if you remember the concept itself, but detailed explanation I am giving here. So what is glycolysis means? It is a common step in both aerobic and anaerobic respiration, number 1. Number 2, it takes place in the cytoplasm of the cell. Number 3, it is also called EMP pathway. Embeden, Meyerhoff, Paranos. These 3 scientists give the scheme of glycolysis, hence it is also called EMP pathway. Then finally, definition. The process of breaking down of one glucose molecule into 2 molecules of pyruvic acid is called glycolysis. Glyco means glucose, lysis means breakdown. Okay. So here, how the glucose breakdown occurs, let us see. The first one, glucose converted to glucose 6 phosphate, phosphorylation occur. One ATP is utilized here. ATP converted to ADP. This is called ignition of glucose. Okay, glucose is activated. First is in ground state. So now energy is added to the glucose. How? Already in the biological system, the energy currency ATP is present. So that ATP is utilized, hydrolyzed to release phosphate, and that phosphate is attached to glucose 6 phosphate. What does it represent? Means on the 6th carbon, what is the formula of glucose? C6H12O6. So glucose 6 phosphate means that phosphate is attached to the 6th carbon of glucose. For this reaction, hexokinase enzyme is helpful. Okay, these enzymes are also present in the biological system. Next, glucose 6 phosphate further undergo a series of reaction in the presence of phosphoglucose isomerase. This is another enzyme, phosphoglucose isomerase, and converted to fructose 6 phosphate. Here isomerism, isomers means the 2 molecules are with the same molecular formula. Glucose formula is C6H12O6, fructose also C6H12O6. So here the glucose 6 phosphate is isomerized in the presence of phosphoglucose isomerase enzyme. Glucose 6 phosphate is converted to fructose 6 phosphate. Okay. Next, fructose 6 phosphate is converted to fructose 1,6 diphosphate or biphosphate. Means here once again the phosphorylation takes place. Another ATP is utilized here. In the presence of phosphofructose kinase enzyme, fructose 6 phosphate is converted to fructose 1,6 biphosphate. Okay. So this fructose 1,6 biphosphate is again converted to DHAP. Okay, that is converted to GLAP. glyceraldehyde phosphate. Okay, glyceraldehyde phosphate, dihydrogen phosphate, convert to glyceraldehyde glyceraldehyde phosphate. Okay, in the presence of GLAP hydrogenase enzyme, and this GLAP is converted to 1,3-biphosphoglycerate. Means here 1, 3, 1, 6 like that represent the carbon on the first carbon, and one on the third carbon the phosphate is attached. Okay. Next, 1,3-biphosphoglycerate in the presence of phosphoglycerate kinase, in the presence of phosphoglycerate kinase enzyme converted to 3-phosphoglycerate. Here dephosphorylation takes place, means the phosphate which is present, one of the phosphate on the first carbon, it is detached and it is accepted by the electron acceptor NADP, that ADP, and converted to ATP. Okay. Next, the 3-phosphoglycerate in the presence of phosphoglycerate mutase, it is another enzyme. In the presence of this enzyme, 3-phosphoglycerate converted to 2-phosphoglycerate. Okay, shifted to second carbon. Next, in the presence of another enzyme enolase, 2-phosphoglycerate is converted to phosphoenol pyruvate, PEP, phosphoenol pyruvate, and this phosphoenol pyruvate is finally converted to pyruvate or pyruvic acid in the presence of pyruvate kinase enzyme. Pyruvate kinase enzyme. See how many enzymes are participating. It is not a simple process. Okay, it involves the participation of several enzymes. Several intermediate compounds are produced before the formation of final product. Okay, that's why respiration is a biochemical reaction. Okay, the glucose converted to glucose 6-phosphate, glucose 6-phosphate converted to fructose 6-phosphate, fructose 6-phosphate is converted to fructose 1,6-biphosphate, it is converted to DAHP, it is converted to GLAP, it is converted to 1,3-biphosphoglycerate, 1,3-biphosphoglycerate converted to 3-phosphoglycerate, 3-phosphoglycerate is converted to 2-phosphoglycerate. Finally, before production of pyruvate, phosphoenol pyruvate is formed in the presence of enolase enzyme, and finally phosphoenol pyruvate in the presence of pyruvate kinase enzyme, pyruvate is formed. Okay, so this is glycolysis. Okay children, concept you remember. So this equation represent the scheme of glycolysis given by EMP pathway. It is Embeden, Meyerhoff and Parnas pathway. Okay, right. Thank you for watching our video. Please subscribe our channel and press the bell icon for receiving latest updates.